all about Symbian and mobile industry review.
We have Symbian, we have MIMO, which is now evolving to Mico together with the Moblin, and so. But the key point is that Qt as an application development environment. So that's both in Symbian and as well as. So we are trying to, even though the operating systems and the storage serves two different kind of targets, that we have a smartphone category, computers category, but at the same time unifying as much possible the platform and the tools towards the developers is important. And Ovi Store is the platform, and it's now in the, of course, MIMO is now the N900 was the first device. So and Ovi is there, and I believe it will be equally big. And our target is to really drive both quality but also quantity when it comes to the whole platform. It's not only about that developers will develop applications. There are a lot of content providers who actually don't want to develop apps. They just want to get their content to be discovered through apps, and we will provide more sophisticated tools going forward into that direction. Of course, because the focus is different. So computer category, we expect to see more powerful hardware, more capabilities. So of course we want to take advantage of those, and our partners will want to take advantage of those to develop sort of something that it won't be necessarily available for Symbian in the same form, because the capabilities are different. So it will depend a bit of what type of the application and how much computing power they need, what capabilities they use, etc. Yeah, currently we are focused on the really, as I said, getting it to scale and getting the offering ready in the Nokia platform. On the other hand, if you take not as such Ovi, but if you take our offering like in the location, so the location and the free turn-by-turn navigation is also creating demand from other vendors into the underlying assets, which in this case are in Navteq. So in that sense, we see that there is already kind of horizontal offering that we have, but it's not under Ovi brand. But Ovi is currently our strategy is to focus on Nokia. Yeah, that's a very good question, because there was a thought process. And it was actually quite long. We already started. What we have observed is that there's always to me and for us it is always the question is that what's the consumer demand, what is kind of the technology situation, and what's the business model. And in this one we saw that, technology, GPS chips are penetrating a very large number of smartphones. So there is an underlying technology that is almost like, hey, what are we going to do with that one? And then on the other hand, in the turn-by-turn navigation was there, but when we look at the consumer, what do consumers actually want from mapping application? It's not only they want navigation, but they wanted also more. It was like if you look at the current Ovi Maps client, there is a Facebook integration. That's just the first step there. There is a local content that you can contextualize through location. So we look at that one and then look at why haven't anybody actually gotten into a real scale with the navigation offering? Because we felt that then the market was fragmented. There was too many buy this license for 10 days or you can buy it for 1 month or 2 years. It was just too complicated. And and then the business model is that, is this going to be monetized through transactional navigation licenses, or is it going to be something else? So we felt that putting all of this together, we realized there is an opportunity, and with our scale we can take this into next level. Rather than being a sell premium navigation licenses, let's move to the next phase, scale it across the device range, and then get the benefit out of the increasing kind of the devices for Nokia, creating an advertising based monetization, and also by opening then the APIs at some point of time, we encourage third parties to build on the offering. So that was kind of the thought process that we went through, and I think I'm quite happy with. We just updated today that even just a few weeks into launch now, 3 million downloads, and we have not even started to preload. So we start to preload next month actually to every device that goes out of the door then with the GPS chip. So people are downloading it now. Right. So of course they will get the benefit, and I believe that has something impact. But I believe that when we integrate, we preload, including the map, so that you don't need to download the map content in your specific area. I will start to get the more uplift right. On that side. I think we are already at that point now, in my opinion, because I see that the fact that people expect that, hey, where do I go and get the apps? So in Nokia case, you go to Ovi Store. So I see that it's already a criteria. It doesn't take away that it needs to still come in an attractive package, but I think it has already happened. Yeah, I think that if you look, I think there is a one established. If we talk about app stores, I think there's a one established app store, not several, and we see that we started 9 months ago, about what it is now, May, and after initial sort of the hiccups, we have gotten into scale. But if I look at our situation is that it's not about emerging markets. We compete on a global basis, and I think if I look as an example, we are now here, and if I look to Western Europe, I think we are getting traction, whether it is mapping, whether it is Nokia messaging offering, whether it is music offering, or then the Ovi Store. I think I see traction in all of this. It depends, of course, on a specific market that how are we doing, but I don't see this be an emerging market play. I see this as a global play. Let's talk about Ovi Store. So we launched in May. I think there was a fair amount of the coverage, and I think what I've seen actually now happening in the last 9 months is that if you look at December, maybe November, December, now January coverage, I think it's turning actually, and I think it's not about us telling the story. It's actually the developers starting to tell. There was a Nimbus came up, and these are just the individual one. Nimbus was out, Polar Beat 1 million downloads, and there are several of those companies, and those downloads are not happening. Part of them are happening in emerging markets, but we have a good collaboration in operators in the Western Europe. So I think I feel that the story is starting to come out, and we are focused to make it come out. But the value will be only shown if our partners will be successful. Then we will be successful, because store without the great content and great success for those who provide content is nothing.
Do you think there's not...
So I don't want to talk about Ovi Store. I would rather talk about what is inside the Ovi Store.
So, so inside the Ovi Store, do you not feel you may need to do more to sort of provide incentives to get people into Ovi Store, to sort of provide a little bit of momentum to, kickstart the process, if you will? So
we are working, there is a number of initiatives in that respect, and I think there is so first one is that, of course, locally we need to make sure we are now localized in 30 languages. We will continue that, so we need to work with local partners. Nokia, the Forum Nokia is providing support for developers, and as I mentioned a little bit, kind of still in an incubation mode, but I talk about these more sophisticated tools for the especially for media companies to bring their content in an easier way to the Ovi Store. So absolutely we need to develop the ways how we work with the developers and publishers to make it easier to bring content. But I feel that we have been in the last months pretty good momentum, and there's more interest, and also companies like Grey Stripe, they announced this advertising game offering and integrating their advertising there. So I think there are a lot of good developments. But I think that we can always do more, and we need to do more, much more. Yeah, I would say that there's like a three tiers here. Is the MeeGo kind of a computer category. Then we have the really there. I think our current approach there is let's try to push the envelope as much as possible. Mm-hmm. Then in the Symbian, that's about pushing it downstream as fast as we can, because that provides a larger base for the smartphones and developers. And then in the S40, kind of in the lower end of the category there, of course, the lowest sort of the cost services like Nokia Live Tools, etc. So I think there's a quite good segmentation we have, and of course that will evolve, and we need to see where it goes. But I don't see that really changing in the let's say next 12 to 24 months. Yeah, that's a good question, and if we look a year back, I think that it's just showing kind of what we had then. We have 0 messaging deal. Now we have 70 plus, out of which more than half are in the marketplace already. We didn't have Ovi Store. Now we have it, and it's getting a good momentum. We had music offer in 1 market. Now we have 27 markets, and then in the navigation we were of course already established there. But I think it's with the new client, etc., a significantly increased momentum. So I expect that we will continue to focus on those 4 areas. We will actually drive them harder. It's more countries, more content, more localized service. So I think you can. It's more like, I'm not giving an update that we should have like this many million users, but significantly up where we are now, and we are going to report progress. I believe on a monthly and quarterly basis that we are making progress on that respect. That's an extremely good point, and I feel that we need to talk more about solutions, and not only Nokia, but also work with our channel partners, whether that is retail or operator channel, and customers to really make sure that the proposition is understood. So we have a joint educational task. And I think absolutely, in that front there is a lot of, because ultimately it's that if the consumer doesn't understand, and even though we have good momentum, I think the market has a good momentum from the early adopters, I think, but in order to really take to the next level, a lot of educational work is needed. I believe that ultimately it's an ecosystem game, and I think that if we cannot make our partners to succeed, we cannot succeed in services, and we have seen that now. I think Ovi Store is good. So I believe in the maps. Now it's more focusing on the content partners. So like we have Lonely Planets and we have Michelin's on the global level, but I think every country will have a much more focused set of partners that will be relevant for locally, for different demographics, etc. So I believe that it's about working together.
All about Symbian and Mobile Industry Review.